Hello, beautiful, sensitive souls. Welcome again to Surviving to Thriving, where we address how to move from struggle and just barely surviving sometimes in a world that's just too big, too fast, too loud, too busy, just overall too much, and get to a place of calm and actually feeling good in our skin as highly sensitive people and thriving as uh, as someone with this trait. So I'm your host and high sensory coach, Tammy Goen. I'm so glad, as always, to have you here with me. And it's my vision, as I've mentioned, of course, that every single highly sensing person on the planet will be able to stop feeling wrong and hiding, playing small, stop trying to be less sensitive and somehow different, but come to honor their amazing, unique skills as a sensitive person, to embrace their nature so that they can be a gentle yet really strong force in the world. So that's why we're here, and it's good to have you. And this month I've been addressing overwhelm and how to minimize it. And HSPs can really come to feel overwhelmed so much sooner and more intensely. So it's really important to take care of ourselves, as I talk about a lot, and to calm our nervous systems with plenty of downtime and time of just being in the moment. And one other thing that's really helpful for trying to remain calmer and minimize this overwhelm place is to have a really strong gratitude practice. So let's talk about gratitude. And here's a quote that I found that I really appreciate that kind of sums everything up for me, I think. And this is a quote from Melody Beatty. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity, and it can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, and a stranger into a friend. There's just so much about that that I really appreciate. Part of that is intention and awareness, and then what the meaning that we give to things, right? If we give really positive meaning to things, then they impact us in a positive way, and they can really help us to manage everything. If we see things in a very negative way, they're going to weigh on us and not help us along our journey of being okay with ourselves and okay with life. So many things in there, especially I love the part about confusion to clarity. So if we can sit back and be grateful for what we have and not get mired in the stuff that's not working, then we can have more clarity and recognize more that's good with the world, of course, but even in our own systems and our own minds, when we're not so bogged down in all of that, we can actually think more clearly. When our emotions are more regulated, we can think more clearly. So I just really love that quote, and hope that struck a chord, resonated with you as well. And again, it is easy to get wrapped up in what's not working, what's so challenging, and to compare ourselves and our circumstances with others, and feel less than, or that we're somehow lacking in some way. We can visualize what we want to have or be or do, and then if we're not there yet, we can get really frustrated and feel pressured to do more, to be more, for things to be different. That we can tell ourselves that where we're at right now is just not okay. We're not okay. Everything's not enough. Everything's not good enough. We're not good enough. It's really easy to get wrapped up into that, be in that place. And that can really lead to feeling more overwhelmed, because we'll feel like there's just too much to do. There's too much to handle, that we have to somehow be better or different than we are. And it's just really exhausting. And if we're already dealing with all of the input that's coming in constantly and all of the expectations that we have, and then we have this extra piece of feeling like we're just not enough, we're not doing enough, we're lacking compared to other people, we're going to definitely feel even more deeply that sense of overwhelm. And when we're pressured or frustrated or sad or even hopeless, we can actually pause for a moment, regroup, and refocus on what we do have, what is going well, even what we offer to the world, even if, maybe our business isn't going the way we want, but we can appreciate what we are offering. And then that helps us to shift into a different place. If we focus on these things that are going well and have gratitude for them, we can reconnect with things that we've been maybe taking for granted. Maybe we've forgotten that are going well, and really become aware of more of the positive things, activities, events, circumstances in our lives that really are positive, and allow those to buoy us up and get us out of that rut of feeling like, life's not fair, it's just not working, things are not good, but reminding us of just what is good. And that helps us to see more of what is possible, and see the things that we're wanting to be possibilities. When we get wrapped up in this negativity and focusing only on those things that aren't working, then not only do we shift the vibration and bring more of that to us, it's really hard for us to see those potentials. And actually, that's one of the things that we're really good at. Highly sensing people are good at seeing the possibilities, and we can get bogged down in the what ifs that are negative, like all of these horrible things that could happen. But we also have the positive side of that. What if I can get through this right now and everything works out just fine? Or what if, you can see all these different potentials, these possibilities arise because we have that really deep imagination. We can actually see and envision things that sometimes others can't. So we can use that to our advantage to try to pull ourselves out of those downward spirals when things just seem like they're not working. And sometimes it really can seem like there aren't many, or maybe even any, of the positive things to be focused on. It seems like one thing after another isn't good, or it's not getting any better. And I've definitely been in that place of just feeling like, wow, what is going on? What's next? I don't know. Nothing seems to be rolling. Nothing's flowing. It's just really, really challenging. And I don't know how to get out of that. And it always helps me to be able to not only use my tools for raising my energy, things like watching and listening to uplifting videos and podcasts, reading, inspiring books, spending time in nature, connecting with others, those kinds of things that just naturally buoy me. It's good to have those tools, but also to think about those who actually have even more challenges than I do. It's easy to get stuck in, where I'm at, going, oh, this isn't fair, this isn't good, it's not working. But there's likely to be someone else out there, probably lots of someone else's out there, who are struggling even more than I am. And maybe it's in different ways. But if I can connect with that idea that, oh yeah, there's a lot going on out there, outside of me, that's also not working well, or that, people are really struggling with. And if I focus on those just for a brief time, not to where I feel despondent or something, but where I can just use that as a little key to shift it, unlock this, poor me kind of spot. It can really be helpful. There are always people that have more on their plate, that are dealing with more roadblocks, more challenges than I am. And so sometimes actually just hearing about someone with a really significant struggle allows me to sit back and go, oh, right, it could be definitely worse. It could be very different. It's not just me. There's lots of people struggling. And then if I actually seek something out, maybe for 5 minutes or maybe 2 minutes, look at the news, or, pull something up that talks about someone else's struggle for just that moment, it helps me to reset and go, okay, right, good, good remembering that it's not just me, and it's not really all that bad. I just am in this place where it just snowballs, and that's all I see. But really, if I can step out of that, then it's not so big anymore. So all of the things that we can do to step out of that, remind ourselves what actually is good, and then that just helps us to, helps to pull us out. We have a different perspective. So it's helpful for remaining in a good place, and to have to decrease our overwhelm, but remain in a better place of not falling into that spiral, to have a really good daily practice of feeling grateful. And I know that sounds simplistic, or, like you might be saying, yada, yada, whatever. Everybody talks about that. Yeah. Okay. That's great. But it really is a powerful tool to be focused on gratitude, not only just saying, oh, I'm going to do this exercise and feel grateful, but just as an ongoing practice of stopping as often as possible to recognize what are the things that you can be grateful for. But as an ongoing practice, you can start your day this way or end your day this way, maybe looking at a list that you've created over time of all the things that you are grateful for, or writing a new list each time, or just jotting down 3 things to be grateful for right now, doing that right as you awaken, or right before you go to bed, or both, or anytime during the day. Just paying attention to everything around you. What am I grateful for? Just to remind yourself to stay in that mode. And then when you do have a challenging time, then you can stop, take a breath, and then say, okay, wait, there's got to be something that I can feel grateful for right now. What is that? And then tune into that. So being just more aware of that and allowing that to shift the energy can be so, so powerful. And you can do like a gratitude meditation, or just sit quietly for a little while and identify a few things that you're grateful for. Or again, when you like are butting heads with someone, or you're working on a project and it's just not working, or you wake up and you're just in a funk and you just don't want to be there, just being able to stop and say, okay, there's got to be something I can be grateful for right now. And then just tune into that. What does that feel like? Why do you like it? Why are you grateful for that? What would things be like if you didn't have that? What kind of a emptiness or hole would be there if you didn't have this thing? And maybe you realize how much more important that is than you were acknowledging, and maybe you've forgotten. But so anything that might pop up can be really, really helpful to just create that shift and get out of that downward spiral. And then as we pay attention to the positive things that we are grateful for, we tend to become aware, oh, and then there's that one, and then there's that one. And then our energy shifts, and then we become more aware of more, even more than that. And then that helps to shift that energy overall, and more things will happen that we can be grateful for. But learning to just be really attentive to those things and aware, and not taking them for granted, can be really, really powerful. So what I wanted to do for today is to have a little gratitude exercise. So, but first, I almost forgot. One of the things that you can ask yourself, as if you are kind of struggling or feeling challenged, is just take that breath and say, what could be different right now? What could, if I put my focus on something going forward, something positive, what could shift? What's possible? And kind of being in that place of curiosity again. It's like, yeah, I'm in a rut right now. I'm in a place I don't like. What could be different? And then open up the possibilities for things to get better, rather than focusing just on what's not working. Okay, so a little exercise that we can do. Go ahead and, if you're able, close down your eyes if that's comfortable. Sit in a nice, comfortable position. And go ahead and just focus on your breath. Air coming in through your nose. And imagine that breath coming directly into your heart area. And as you're paying attention to the breath coming in, imagine that you have a root of some kind from the base of your spine, sending that down into the earth. And just visualize that however you'd like, whatever that root looks like, down into the earth, or maybe it's a cord of some kind. And once it reaches the center of the earth, it just brings up all of this amazing earth energy all the way through that root up into your body, into your chakra system, starting at the root all the way up through and into the top of your head. Just allowing that energy to ground you and support you. And paying attention to that breath coming into the heart area. And as you exhale, just let everything that's not serving you release. You can release it out to the ether or down through that cord into the core of the earth. And then you can place one hand on your heart if you'd like, really focusing on that heart area with each breath coming in. And then paying attention to the feeling of gratitude. And if it's challenging right now to connect with that feeling of really being grateful, just see if you can remember something from the past that you were grateful for. And see if you can reconnect with that feeling of gratitude. Air coming in, bringing in love and light and high vibration energy into your heart space. And anything not serving you released on the exhale down into the earth or out into the ether. And then remaining grounded, but being aware of the space around you, go ahead and open your eyes, staying in that really calm place, that nice steady breathing still. But this time, go ahead and just look around wherever you are and pick one thing that you are grateful for. It might be very, very small, very basic. It might be something that you just purchased for yourself or someone gifted you. It might be something that allows you to do something that you love. It might be something that has a real strong sentimental value to you. Whatever that is, just look around. Maybe it's even a picture of an amazing scene outside in nature. Whatever that is, just pick one thing right now that you can truly be grateful for, even if it's small. And just zero in on that item, whatever that is. And then ask that question, why is this important to me? Or why does this provide something really positive to me that I can be grateful for? And just connect with that. Again, allowing your breath to continue to be nice and deep and steady, bringing that air into your heart space, feeling that feeling of gratitude for this particular item that's in your surroundings. And then look around you again and choose one more thing that you can be grateful for. And maybe it's something that you haven't thought of for a long time, haven't even used for a long time, but now that you're really looking, searching out something, perhaps something you've taken for granted or not noticed for a while pops up, or maybe you went right to your second item, knowing that that would be really important to you, but something else, a second thing in your environment that you can truly be grateful for. Just pay attention to whatever that is. And again, asking, what does this give me? How does this make my life more enjoyable or easier? Maybe what would life be like if I didn't have this thing? And that can increase the gratitude that you feel for it right now. Oh, if I didn't have that, life would be harder in this way or less vibrant in this way. I'm really glad I have that. And now just see if you can think of something that has happened to you, for you, around you in the past day, the past week, past month even, something that's happened that even if at the time you didn't think it was great, now you can be truly grateful for that event. Just see what you can pull up in your memory. What's something that has happened lately that you truly can be grateful for? And then again, ask, why am I grateful for that? What has that brought me? What has that added to my life or made easy or made possible that I could be grateful for? And then just pay attention to that feeling of gratitude. Notice where you might feel that in your body. Is it warm and fuzzy? Do you feel light? Do you feel a buzzing anywhere? Do you feel warmth in your heart space? What does that feel like, that gratitude? And then paying more attention again to where you're sitting and this immediate environment. Just think of allowing this feeling, this sensation that you have for this gratitude, this idea of these things that are around you and this experience you've had that you can be grateful for, whatever that feels like for you right now in this sense of gratitude. See about just bringing that forward with you throughout the rest of your day, just coming from that place of gratitude. And the first time you run into a snag or something that is troubling to you or that is challenging, see if you can reconnect with that feeling of gratitude and say, oh, yeah, wait, okay, I'm going to focus instead on something that I'm grateful for that brings something to my life. And just have that as a tool going forward, always, of course, but really pay attention to that through the rest of the day and see how that helps you to pull out more quickly from any of your challenging spots. And thank you again for joining me. As always, it's great to have you here, and I would love to connect with you further, find out what resonates for you and anything that you would just like to chat about high sensitivity. And you can find all of my information on Linktree with just my name, Tammy Goen. And I would love to connect with you one-on-one and talk more. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again next time.